In the Legend of Zelda series, the Triforce plays an utmost important role by being the pillars of Hyrule's providence and the world, identified by the three virtues, power, wisdom, and courage. When apart, they also associate with the three most important characters within the series: the Demon King, Ganon, the chosen hero, Link, and the namesake of the series, the Royal Princess, Zelda. As the triangles were left behind by the creators of the world, the golden goddesses Din, Feor, and Nehru, they instructed the guardian goddess Hylia to guard these powerful relics, as not only they contain the very power and essence of the gods, but they do not differentiate between good and evil. Yet they could not be wielded by gods themselves. When the crisis with demise ensued, Hylia willingly stripped herself of her own divinity to be reborn as a human, so that one day, perhaps she could wield the power of the Triforce to eradicate demise. This led to the lineage of the royal family of Hyrule and the line of princesses known as Zelda that would carry the blood of the goddess. These maidens, born from the goddess Hylia's reincarnation, have unique and mystical powers due to their bloodline, and at times these powers are imperative in defeating evils throughout the history of Hyrule. However, as time goes on, the blood of the goddess thins out with every new generation, and due to that, the powers of these princesses wane. While on the surface level it would seem to make sense, but why would those that carry the name Zelda lose their power over time? Even if one drop of the blood from the goddess would be enough, why do their abilities wane? It's due to the connection. As stated in Hyrule Historia on the weakening of Hylian's bloodlines, the kingdom fell into ruin during the imprisoning war, and the bloodline of the Hylians weakened with the ages, until their existence was not a thing of the past. The sages' power also waned, and Hyrule, once called the Kingdom of the Gods, became nothing more than an ancient legend. With all of the power, magic, and abilities of Hyrule become lesser over time, this would include the princess herself, as we've seen in Zelda games across the timelines that her own power would play more and more of a diminutive role in combating evil and would have to be supplemented by other powers, such as the light spirits in Twilight Princess and the assistance of other maidens or sages in various titles. This definitely comes to a head when looking at Breath of the Wild, the Zelda of this generation shown through memories to be having incredible trouble claiming the Herald Sealing power needed in order to eliminate the Calamity Ganon as told in Yore. Being more than 10,000 years in the future than a previously known clash with Ganon, and an unknown number of years total ahead of the last unknown Zelda title, it can be plain to see why Zelda was having such an issue with manifesting and using this power. She even claims in the complete ending of Breath of the Wild that it seemed that her power had dwindled over time, and although this can spell doom through our eyes, she happily accepts that. While on the notion of doom, while Zelda's power dwindles over the ages, it is a horrifying reaction to that in turn, Ganon's power actually increases as time goes on. This is due to the concept of Malice within the Curse of Demise. While Ganon does come to own the Triforce of Power, and in some cases the entire Triforce, it is this powerful hatred forever bound to the goddess and the hero which only increases his strength over time, while Zelda's own power wanes and the rise of the hero is only beckoned to the bark of evil. Ganon's source of innate power, Malice, is said to overflow and allows him to break the seal afflicted on him throughout the ages and instances of Zelda's history. As stated in Hyrule Encyclopedia, his soul overflowed with malice towards the Princess Zelda and Link, and his will was strong enough to repeatedly break the seal. While it could be argued that the Triforce is responsible for Ganon breaking the seal, we must look at the variable of what mystical energies sealed Ganon, and that they're usually of a sacred sort, something that would match the signature of the Triforce, thus rendering the relic's own sacred power inert when trying to break a seal of its own nature. It will be due to this that these seals are always broken due to the overwhelming demonic darkness that is Malice, as what would be sacred would be defiled by what would be malevolent, and vice versa. It is due to this increasing strength within Ganon and this decreasing strength within Zelda that Link and the Master Sword is the key to striking down Ganon time and time again, and more so than ever in Breath of the Wild. It is the virtue and the ability of he who would house the spirit of the hero and the holy power of the Blade of Evil's Bane that would smite the malice of Ganon and allow his defeated state to be sealed by Zelda. In Breath of the Wild, it is the use and apparent dwindling of this sacred sealing power that confirms a connection and reasoning for Princess Zelda's diminishing power, explained by the thinning of the goddess's bloodline, and why all the while Ganon's power continues to increase, despite his apparent defeat that will spell doom and direction for the sequel to Breath of the Wild. This sealing power, the weakening power of Zelda, the mark on her hand, it is all the connection to the Triforce. Zelda, those with the blood of the goddess, derives their power from the sacred triangles. They channel the Triforce through a connection afforded to them through the relation with the goddess that grants all Zeldas across time a wide range of supernatural abilities. And with the thinning of that blood, that connection gets weaker as the ages pass. That is why Zelda has so much trouble channeling the sealing power in that game. That is why the Triforce mark shows on her hand. And that is why the legend of 10,000 years past shows the Triforce as part of the princess using her power in the efforts of sealing the Calamity Ganon along with the hero and all of the Sheikah technology, because they are channeling the sacred force from the Triforce to seal the Calamity. With the idea of the Triforce in the wind during the events of Breath of the Wild, in creating a champion, it states, the Triforce itself is said to contain the power of the goddesses, but that cannot be confirmed since the only verifiable power tied to the Triforce in this era was light that appeared from Princess Zelda's right hand. Unfortunately, nothing more is known regarding the Triforce. So not only this statement alludes to a definite connection between the sealing power and the Triforce, but it also drives home the fact that for some reason the Triforce within the events and era of Breath of the Wild is out of the public eye and out of public knowledge, but it subtly confirms its existence somewhere within the world. This information is crucial to how we must look at Breath of the Wild and its sequel regarding the history and relation to Ganondorf and Zelda's power differences. The Triforce was probably missing in the events of Breath of the Wild and its own legends due to the danger its existence posed to the world, with Ganon becoming as strong as he was without it, thanks to the power of Malice growing exponentially over time, eventually taking on the role of Calamity. If the Calamity were to attain the Triforce with this much malice, all would definitely be lost. So, the royal family must have taken severe precautions and not only hid the Triforce, but perhaps redacted nearly all legends and knowledge related to the relic, and simply kept its image as a symbol of legend or identity. However, to us, from the outside looking in, know that it must exist somewhere. While Zelda was able to channel enough of the Triforce's power to seal the Calamity Ganon, the advents that would come after would spell more horrors to come, as Zelda's power has confirmed to have dwindled as shown in the complete ending for Breath of the Wild, but is also revealed in the first trailer for the sequel to Breath of the Wild that Ganondorf still exists somewhere within the depths of Hyrule, and while sealed, seems to continue to overflow with malice, as specifically stated in Zelda Encyclopedia. With the impending threat of the true Demon King, and the fact that Zelda's ability to seal vanishing from her very bloodline, it may be possible that this mysterious sealing power and the Master Sword will not be enough to strike down Ganondorf in this era, especially with the idea of how much stockpiled malice he has accumulated that can empower him to frightening levels. The only true way to defeat him now may lie with the true power and rediscovery of the Triforce. This may be one of the main goals of the sequel. As Zelda may no longer channel the power of the Triforce, her connection to it as per her blood of the goddess may in fact allow her to possibly track the Triforce, whether complete or broken, resulting in a race against time to rediscover and rebuild the Triforce in order to truly combat Ganondorf and maybe even restore the land of Hyrule to its former glory before the events of the Calamity. And this would prove insightful, as the return of Ganondorf means the return of this ambition gifted to him by Demise, to seek out the Triforce, to dominate Hyrule and destroy all that get in his way. With the land of Hyrule the biggest it's ever been in Breath of the Wild, the quest for the Triforce will be quite the undertaking, and since Ganon gets stronger over time while Zelda gets weaker, there is no time to waste. It is perhaps this journey that will allow some sort of cooperative gameplay, with Link and Zelda both seeking the Triforce and offering different gameplay styles to work together in finding these relics. And who knows, maybe this will lead us down a path of truth, that we may return to the Sacred Realm and revisit connections to the sages that once guarded the Holy Triangles. All things point back to the return of the Triforce as the only hope for Hyrule, as the blood of the goddess losing its potency can lead to disaster, and this type of disaster was very apparent in the Downfall timeline. This search for salvation may also be a search for answers to finally allow us to learn why the Triforce can be claimed by all, including Ganon. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It really does help the channel grow. Hit that subscribe button for more awesome Zelda content and ring that bell to know when it goes live. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep things hype, and until the next one, I've been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.